Hey guys, so I finally did it. I went and bought the new 4K NVR. Instead of DVR, it's NVR. It's an 8-channel, but they only give you 2 cameras. And that's to keep the cost down. This system goes for $250, and I caught it on sale for $200. I thought that was a pretty good deal. It has a built-in spotlight on the cameras, thermal motion detection, 90-degree field of view, enhanced night vision, power over Ethernet, 4K resolution, and 1 terabyte hard drive. The system comes in one box that has 2 small boxes. One has the NVR in it, and one has the cameras and cabling. Okay, first one I got the DVR, remote, power supply, a mouse, and power supply. It has an external power unit that isn't quite like the other ones, not a wall wart, because it has a cable on each side called these power packs. 1.5 amp, 72 watts, 48 volts. That's a little strange. 48 volts is a telecom standard. They give you these dinky little mice. I don't put the NVR or DVR with the display, so they don't work very well for me. And they give you a remote for the same reason. You'd have to get an IR extender to run from the NVR out to where the remote can see it while you're watching it. Not worth the effort for me. From looking at it externally, it looks just like the DVR from the 1080p system. And it tells you to use your phone to scan this to get the latest software and setup instructions. Here is 3 QR codes, one for an iOS, which is Apple, and Android, and that is for the registration. These look like network cables, and they are network cables, but this isn't a switch. They're just using Cat6 cables as a transport to get from the camera to here. It does have a WAN connection, and then you want to tie that to your ISP, HDMI, VGA, audio out. There is no audio in like there used to be. USB, and there's the power connector. Interestingly enough, it has a reset right there. You have to get something pretty small to put down in there, but it has a reset. Overview of the DVR. A note on returning this system. If I buy something like this, I'm keeping the boxes for 90 days. That's the 90-day warranty. And I didn't buy the extended warranty on this. I don't think they're worth it. The 1080p system worked for 5 years before it had any problems. Having the problems with the 1080p system didn't influence me getting this system. I just wanted the new system. I had already fixed the 1080p system. I got a new power supply, got a new hard drive. I put a 1.5 terabyte. Give you 2 cables that look like Ethernet cables, but we'll take a look at them and see if they're Cat 6 or Cat 5 or not Cat anything. Give you a mounting template for the cameras. There's screw set, some type of a mounter for the camera, and these kind of cool cameras. It's got plastic covering on this. I'm not going to take that off until I install it because I'm afraid of scratching that lens. So they come out in a RJ45. That's what an Ethernet cable has on it, is an RJ45. That looks like it's wired for 2 pair. So this is not a Cat 6 cable. It's only got 2 pair. I'll have to look at that. That looks like orange and green, which would be the Ethernet pairs. They give you the Cat cable with the RJ45 ends. Do you provide your own power, or is this power over Ethernet? Still odd they give you that power connector if that's the case. I hope they give you that for an option. I've used the power over Ethernet quite a bit for remote devices, mostly for phones. Cisco IP phones use power over Ethernet. So they wrap this. I hate this stuff. At the same time, I usually don't use a cutter on it because I'm always afraid I'll cut the cable. And you probably just cut the sheath, but still don't want to cut the sheath. Okay, that does not feel like Cat 6 at all. That might be Cat 5. That has to do with the size of the copper and the twist per inch. They might be Cat 5e, but they're not Cat 6. Orange and with a normal pin out of a Ethernet cable. 568B would be the way that's wired. Don't know that that's important if you're going point to point. batteries for your remote. There are 4 very small screws. Quick start guide. So we'll go through all of this. I just want to unpack everything. Let's take a look at it. The part number for this is 57648. What you get in the box, you don't need a lot of hardware for this type of thing. You really just need cameras and a DVR, cables, and a power supply. So not very complicated to install. We did the unboxing and I wanted to hook up the system. I highly recommend that when you get this, before you install it in your house, run all these cables, that you get a setup like this. NVR, monitor, all the pieces, hook them up, make sure they work before you do all the trouble of running the cables. So that's what we're going to do. So we have 2 cameras. I'll just point them at the back wall. I've got HDMI cable, goes to this monitor. So let's put that in place. I'm not going to hook it to the network. I'm going to hook the mouse to the front, power supply, and 2 cameras. LAN 1 and 2 is logical to me. So I opened these just enough to be able to connect them. Just easier to manage. Got the camera. I'll just plug the RJ45 into the RJ45 jack. There's one. Matter of fact, I'll turn this around because that's the interesting part. So I've got each camera with a cable plugged into the RJ45 side. And we'll call this camera 1. And it's all the way on this end. So there's 2 cameras plugged in. Need a power supply. When Power over Ethernet was first developed, they wanted to mimic existing telecom systems. So they did 48 volts. 48 volts is more than you need. And I'm not sure why they decided that, but I've worked on a lot of Power over Ethernet and they're all that way. So we'll plug in the power. See if I really did plug in the power. System initializing. That first screen looks just like the 1080p software. I just want to do enough of the setup that I can tell that these are all working. Both cameras will display. Now the mouse, okay, monitor supports 1080p resolution output. Do I want to change to that? Okay, that's fine. That's working. So you can see it moving. So it is working. And you can see it's added these 2 cameras. So they're working. That's what we want to know. We want to know that they're working. 1 and 2 are working. Not seeing a whole hell of a lot, but what the heck. You can see that it's working. That's all I really care about. If one of those didn't work, then I would package it back up, take it back. If you just move the mouse down here, you go back to setup, and we want layout. I only want 4 cameras. To save money, they only gave you 2 cameras. Well, it supports 8, so you got to go buy 2 more to get 4, which is a default in my opinion. By the time you get above 4, you can't see very well. We even have a huge monitor on the wall to display this on, and it's still, you can't see them. You can't see what's going on. I prefer the 4 view. To go buy these cameras, $89 list, so you can figure you're going to pay 20% less than that, which works out to about $70. Okay, so the system works. That's what I wanted to verify. I've identified all the pieces, what I want to do with them, and the next video we'll start installing the system, installing the cameras, the client, and going through all the options. So if you like the videos, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.